Is that on now? I'll do my line again. And I am an actor. I tried to distribute our presentation package. Did everybody receive that today? Everybody had a chance to look at that? Great, because that includes a lot of our background and saves us a little time in going through that now. Has anybody here been to a Thorold Community Theatre production at Trinity United Church in the past? We've been there 30-odd years. And did you enjoy yourself? Did you enjoy yourself? Yeah.
Immensely.
Good. So thank you very much for having us here. Joining me tonight is our president of the executive, Theresa, Chubak, MaryAnn O'Neill Park, our vice president, and our longtime executive member and now ambassador, Marilyn Colbert. So we are interested in the Allanburg Community Centre, and how we got here was when we first realized that our current home at Trinity United Church was not really reliable in a longer term context. We felt it important to move very quickly in order to find a new home. We had sent out some emails and letters to different levels of government, our representatives on committees and councils and in legislatures, etc., looking for some help. And we quickly got a letter back from the mayor of Thorold indicating that he would like us to look into the Allanburg Community Centre, and that's why we are here. We've looked at the community center on a number of occasions, and we're very, very excited about the location. We think that with bringing it up to code and not much more, we would be able to move in and make it our long-term home. Part of what Thorold Community Theatre does, in addition to our theater programming, is we participate in a lot of community events for the community of Thorold. We're very involved, having been given the award of Citizen of the Year at one point. We donate to Thorold seniors. Community Care gets cash from us, and that sort of thing. So we are, members of the Board of Trade and that sort of thing. We're an ingrained not-for-profit organization here in Thorold. And when we came up with our little lease issue, we started looking everywhere, but it quickly became clear to us and our membership that we indeed want to stay in Thorold. The community's been very good to us. We've made it our home for a number of years, and we want to stay here. So that's why we're looking at Thorold Community Theatre. So I'm going to just flip to the page in the presentation of where we are today. And I've mentioned that our long tenancy at Trinity United Church cannot be depended upon. So we're seeking a new permanent home. We have a critical storage issue. We don't have a deadline for moving out of the church, but we are considering our own deadlines. We are making our own deadlines, and that we need to find a place for our stuff very, very quickly, and we want to move on that. That's a real high point on our agenda. That includes our chairs, our lights, our sounds, our tools, our curtains, props, and some flats. And if I had to put a number on that, it would be, we could probably fit that in a 40-foot container with plenty of room. So that would be kind of what we would need in cubic feet to store all of our stuff. So we're looking for that very rapidly. In the theater area, we require a large hall for seating, a stage with entrances from the wings, capacity for a lighting grid, dressing room. Some things that would be nice to have is we would like to install our curtains, which we've recently purchased, big red velvet curtains. We would like to set up a sound booth of some permanence. We can operate on a banquet table, but a sound booth of some permanence would be nice to have. And we are interested as well in some leasehold improvements on our own. I did include a slide on theater upgrades. And we have, in the last 11 years, spent some $92,000 at the church to upgrade. And that it really speaks to our desire to provide as professional a theater experience as we can for our audiences. The chairs are well padded, they all link together, they're comfortable, also in red. We put up an outdoor digital sign in conjunction with the church. We built lofts on the wings of the church, and again, all of this indicates I hope this indicates to you that we are a good tenant interested in making the space as good as it can be for the audience. And I think in most instances we succeed. Also in the presentation, you will see a list of what we've called our immediate needs, and this pertains to the building itself. And I'm sure that many of you are aware of some of these issues, and they're not news. The roof leaks, bathrooms we would like upgraded. The kitchen is something that we use for concession, so we'd like that brought up to commercial code. We have leak damage on a kitchen wall. Something that is, for us, the electrical panel from the back of the stage we would like moved, and some extra plugs into the shop room for our carpenter shop. So those are our immediate needs that would make the venue suitable for us to move into, and that would be just moving into. Things like lighting grids, while important, we can stumble through until we're established and until we've worked on some of the other issues for the building, like getting up the curtains and that sort of thing. We can work without curtains if we have to, but these are the things that we have designed that are necessary in the near term. Since we have been on our journey, we've had a couple of other groups indicate to us that they would be interested in riding on our coattails as we develop the space. There's a youth acting and theater group that would like to also be engaged with us as we move forward with this proposal. There's also another group that creates and provides lunches for certain populations, and they are also interested in finding space with us in this area. And I would expect, given our long presence in the community, that we will be approached by other organizations that would want to work with us and use the space itself. We're looking for long-term rental or a lease. So we would consider proposals from the city of Thorold that are partial occupation, where we would share it. We haven't decided what the best way to go is from our position, but we may be an anchor tenant. We may also consider being ones that would handle scheduling and that sort of thing, as well as perhaps intake and usage of the facility. Those are blue sky thinking ideas, but that's kind of where we're coming from. Long-term, well-run company looking for an anchor position in the Allanburg Community Centre. That's my presentation, I think. Did I do okay? I think I got it, yeah.
Great, thank you. I'll leave the floor open to any questions here from the committee. Councillor Sentence?
First off, through you, Mr. Chair, I don't want to lose you in the city of Thorold. That's for sure. I am more sports-minded, but the thing that happens in Thorold is to say, well, what about the arts? What about and we probably don't have enough of that already, and to lose you would be a bad thing. The other thing is, and I don't want to get myself in trouble here, I'm kind of getting giddy with you wanting to come into the Allanburg Community Centre. It could be a perfect fit. We've had an enormously hard time trying to find a fit for the committee there and putting somebody in there. This sounds fantastic. I didn't know about this ahead of time, so until just recently. So I don't want to say when can you move in, but I would definitely like to look into this further. This is really good news. So sorry, Jeff, I didn't.
Concerning when we'd like to move in, that is
Okay.
in the very near future. So
Just
any expedition we
For
can
the
do.
committee's sake, we've had a lot of trouble trying to find out what to do with this space.
I
So,
hear it's empty on the regular.
yeah, it's been worse and worse as it goes on. So
Right.
yeah, this could be fantastic. Thank you for your presentation.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Hanson?
Through you, Mr. Chair, Marcia also has her hand raised online.
So I'm not seeing Marcia on our screen here. Okay, Marcia, Miss Coppola, you're up.
Thank you. So I just have a few questions. Has the Allanburg Community Centre Board of Management been approached yet on this issue, and how do they feel about the lease agreement?
They are up next on our meeting agenda, and I believe the date is the 5th. Wednesday, we'll be meeting with them.
Awesome. Okay, and then just a couple more, just for clarification mainly. Love what you guys do. So, so in your presentation, you had the leaseholder improvement. Those are things you're looking from the city, the leakage, things like that, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And then the section where it had theater upgrades and it had all the listing and that was 92,000. That has nothing to do with the city investment. That's things that you guys have done over time. Like you're not looking for us to give that to you, correct?
That is correct. That includes leasehold improvements that we've made at the church. And in addition to a number of those items are actually portable and not fixtures, and they'll be coming with us.
Perfect. Yeah, I just wasn't sure in the presentation if that's what you were looking for additionally. But yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate all that you guys do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Coppola. Any other questions from the committee? Mr. Vanderboss.
I don't have a question. I'd like to thank you for your presentation. I've always enjoyed the shows I've been to, and it would certainly be a terrible thing to lose your organization here in Thorold. If I could, I would like to make a motion that this committee recommend this project to council pending staff report.
Yeah, we have a seconder, and Mr. Atkinson. Okay, through you, Ms. Hanson, for a report coming from the city.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I believe you could make a recommendation for City Council to direct staff to do a report on it. Would be the process for it.
Okay.
Because it would be council who would have to direct staff to make the report.
All right. I did have just a question, Stan. Again, thank you for the presentation. Maybe is there any, prior to this sort of engagement with the theater, was there any intentions prior to that to renovating the Allanburg Community Centre to upgrade the leaky walls and all of the deficiencies that they're seeing in the building? Mr. Holman?
Mr. Chair. There were a number of improvements that were presented to council. They were moved to the deferred list. I think one of the reasons why is because the programming of the building really needs to be confirmed before we make those improvements. yes, you have to fix the roof in every case, you have to fix some of the drainage problems, we have to make the building accessible. We do have one tenant in there, which is the Thorold Museum, and they are storing their materials there. It's not their permanent solution, but that's fine. And I think the municipality has a responsibility to look after the upkeep of the shell of the building. You know, if there are some solutions to put an anchor tenant like the Thorold Theatre Group, that might make sense to move ahead with some of those improvements that are needed right away. It's not so much the cost of fixing things up. It's what if you don't? The asset continues to deteriorate. And we'll have a report come to council in, I believe, in June or July that looks at all of our buildings, and it'll be able to show what the condition is, and that will help council strategize on where to make these investments. But proposals like this, if they make sense and supported by the community, it makes sense to move them ahead of time.
Thank you. It just seems if we do those renovations, that maybe it brings other people in as well, right? We have an anchor, and then as they were mentioning about being the anchor there and then doing the scheduling, and if there are other tenants, you know, you improve something and people will come, sort of thing. So, great, thank you. I saw, was it Robert, did you have your hand up online?
Actually, I was just kind of like going to second the motion that was tabled.
Well, it looks like you have the support of the committee, so I will leave that in the hands of Ms. Hanson.
Sorry, we would just need to call it to a vote, the motion.
All right, so I'm going to call the motion to a vote. All in favor? All opposed? And it's passed. Thank you again for the presentation. It's
Thank
great.
you guys very much.
I hope to see the building renovated to a beautiful state so we can have groups such as yourself as our tenants.
We're very happy with your vote. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.